Thank you very much. First of all, also contributed along the contributions of these eminent traditional rulers. Now, there are some questions that people ask. Why are you bringing the military in attending to civil unrest in Nigeria? Why did we bring them out of the barracks? What were the roles of the police? What were the roles of traditional institutions? At the time you brought out military, because we were thinking that crisis or insecurity was moving towards modern warfare. We brought out military. Today they are everywhere, but we've not found results. I will say found results because we are still battling with it. Today, it is not the same system, it's not the same traditional institutions. The last man that spoke is a distinguished jurist. I'm a lawyer. Director General of the Nigerian Advanced Legal Studies for several years before he retired. Today he's traditional ruler. He said he should go and be answerable to a local government chairman. One of it, the Sultan, is a retired general. So many of the generals are now retired. They are traditional rulers. The Emir of Lafia is a retired jurist of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. He's going to be answerable to a local government chairman. He's going to be answerable to a local government chairman. Talk of all of them that are seated here. The Emir of Gumi, a retired justice, Court of Appeal, and so many people, so many generals that are moving into it. Now, we are not taking advantage of these resources. We are not taking advantage of these retired brains moving back. And you say they are only going to be given advisory. That's the answer now that you are talking about. They want a constitutional rule. It's beyond advisory. What we've been doing is advisory. You go and say he's only going to advise a local government chairman. If he likes, he takes it. If he likes, he doesn't take it. But if you prescribe certain advisory, certain rules for them, constitutional rules, they are not going to say they are taking away all the functions of a local government chairman or functions of a governor, but it's going to be complementary. Today we have Council of States. Council of States is a collection of former this, former that, former presidents of Nigeria, former justices of, why are bringing them? Because at a point, one time or the other, you would think that these people have, I will say, a basket of ideas, experiences that they want to give the federal government. And yet we are wasting these ones and keeping them to advise and even not providing enough funds. I was a governor. The funds are not enough to even make them do that, work. In some cases, you find out that it is even difficult for them to operate, depending on the political leadership in that place. It's making it difficult, very frustrating for them to operate. Yet, when there are crises, the first place that they will start going is to assemble traditional rulers and ask them, how did it happen? How are we going to cope this crisis? So if we are talking of how did it happen, how are we going to cope this crisis, that is asking that we must create that constitutional rule. So the fears everywhere, and I'm very happy that at the time that I'm not trying to preempt what will happen during the public hearing. When we went into the second reading, if you see the kind of contributions, everybody was contributing for it because we are all beginning to realize that everything is beginning to get hopeless. As I'm sitting, I came in to have a break and fell into a crisis in Plateau State. It is national rulers that are moving here and there. Even the army that is there is relying on the advices of traditional rulers. Of course, we are praying that it will not happen again in Plateau State, and may the souls of those who lost their lives rest in peace. So this is what we are saying. If we keep on saying we're talking of constitutional changes every time, constitutional amendment, what are we talking about traditional rulers? Can't we have that and go back and create that rule and see whether it will work or not? For me, there is no need saying that you are relying on the army, you are relying on the proliferation of more agencies of security without going back to the roots. Let's try the roots. This is where we are going. It's not going to be in conflict. There is no conflict about it. But for me, I think we must do that, create a role and hold them responsible.
Let me ask you again. You were the executive governor in Plateau State for 8 years. To what use did you put the traditional institution, and how effective was it in maintaining or promoting peace in Plateau during your tenure?
Claire, you remember I will always say it, that some of the things we lay down as panacea for peace in Plateau was the creation of the Peace Building Agency. It was not issue of army, Peace Building Agency. The Peace Building Agency came from advice of the traditional institutions. It was a mixture of opinions of traditional institutions, and which was supported by NGOs, even the United Nations, which created the first peace building agency on the plateau. So that peace agency was working tightly, closely with traditional institutions. In all the traditional institutions, all of them, anything that was going to happen there. Because if you are looking for foundation, if you are looking to trace who is a criminal, you will go back to his village. The traditional ruler will tell you the background of his family. They will tell you who are bad ones and the good ones in that place. So this was what we were doing. As early as possible, we tried to get in every village which ones are the bad ones. The traditional ruler will tell us in confidence. And that through the peace building agency will move about. At a point, I also expanded the scope of the peace building agency to involve the inter-advisory council. The inter-advisory council of the Plateau was a mixture of traditional institutions and religious leaders. All of them were part of it. All the heads of religious organizations in Plateau were all part of this advisory council because they work together. And of all of them, I made sure that each of them I was going to hold responsible, depending on where the crisis was coming from. With that, we had a lot of advantages in curbing some of these crises. So, but today, well, I don't want to. My friend Wike will say, "Day your day, and let the other person day his day." I don't want to say I'm getting myself into administration of somebody else. But if we look at this critically and with this array of brains, you have seen them. This is just a few of what we are picking. All of them, you can't say that they don't have the experiences. All of them, you can't say they don't have the background. All of them, you can't say that they are not people that are of integrity. Then why are we not using them? Why are we not using them? We will say it is constitutional role. How it fell the other time is what we are doing today to make sure that this law will not fail. All politicians will go and acquire traditional title. Our president has about 3 or 4, I think so many. But the few ones that he's using is Aswaju, and also Jagaban. All these titles were given by traditional rulers, and he has a lot of respect for the for traditional titles. If there is a respect for traditional titles, there is respect for traditional rulers. Let us create that respect and provide a role for them so that we can use to cope insecurity and also modernize or enhance our governance system.